Hello. Well, in this video, we're going to talk about why regulating your nervous system is usually just a fucking bullshit advice and what you should actually do instead if you want to start feeling better and manifest a better life both inwardly and outwardly for yourself. If you don't know who I am, my name's Tim. I've written multiple best-selling books on stress management and linking stress management and relaxation concepts with popular manifestation and also unpopular manifestation concepts to hopefully help you feel better and naturally manifest a better life. If you want a free copy of one of my books called The Law of Attraction Simplified, link will be in the description if you're interested in reading that book. Last car video that I did, I was discussing how there's just so much superficial advice that we see when it comes to, manifestation, but also in terms of just like feeling better. I was talking about how you always hear in the law of attraction and law of assumption communities, like, stay high frequency, stay high vibe, stay in your desired end state, live in the end. And again, there's nothing wrong with these phrases in and of themselves. And before they were popular, I think they were very powerful. But now all of these catchphrases they're so overplayed that they really don't have any meaning, because the truth of the matter is, while it sounds great, without question, obviously, just stay high vibe, stay high frequency, just elevate your frequency. That's all you have to do. While there's obviously some truth to that, actually fucking doing it is difficult a lot of the time, right? What I always tell people is, listen, if you feel more relaxed and you've figured out a way to make relaxation more of your default state, then your life is just going to improve. That's it. You figured it out. You don't need any of these fancy techniques or, any of this esoteric theory. The point of most of that esoteric theory, especially once you know a little bit about these various manifesting concepts, is just to get you to that place, that state, that frequency, whatever you want to call it, where you feel good more of the time, more at peace. Because if you feel good inwardly more of the time and more at peace and positively expectant of good things happening in your life naturally for you and for other people, you are in a highly creative, manifestive state. That's what virtually all of these teachings are really pointing at, is feeling good more of the time, more positively expectant, and believing the best is happening for you and for everybody else. That's it. The problem is actually doing that. That's the fucking problem. If you read, this is what I always talk about, I've always written about. If you go back and read my book, Relax More, Try Less, which links these ideas of having relaxation as more of your default state, links those ideas with the law of assumption ideas of Neville. That's what that whole book is about. If you read my short guide, The Relaxation Manifesto, I'll put a link in the description if you've never read that. It's just saying you don't have to focus on theory so much. You just got to focus on relaxing more, usually. At least most of us do, including me. That's why I love working with people, is because working with people helps me see also things that I need to work on to relax more, to feel more expectant and positive in my life. But the whole thing, guys, is this is easier said than done for almost all of us. Are there exceptions? Of course there are exceptions. But those exceptions are not watching fucking YouTube videos about this stuff. They've already got it figured out, at least for the large part. And this brings me to what I want to discuss a little bit in depth today. Maybe not that much in depth, but we'll see. Maybe I'll yammer on for 20 minutes. And that is this idea of regulating your nervous system. Because while I really dislike how, stay high vibe or just stay high frequency or, live in the end, I really dislike those phrases, how they're used now. I dislike the phrase regulate your nervous system even more so. Guys, if you can regulate your nervous system the way these fucking jokers on YouTube and elsewhere talk about it, you're all set. Easier said than done. When you hear someone say, just, regulate your nervous system, I just have to regulate my nervous system. Fuck it, I don't know, man. I would start walking the other way if I were you. Because too many of these jokers, they make it seem like that's easy peasy. Just regulate your nervous system, all's good. Most of these folks are so deluded, they don't even realize how unregulated they are. If it was easy to regulate your nervous system, everybody would do it, guys. Everybody wants to feel good, not bad. I mentioned this last video. In my book, The Law of Attraction Simplified, again, link is in the description if you want a free copy of that. I talk about how feeling good, not bad, feeling relaxed, feeling regulated is what we all want. And that's something to strive for and to relax into as best you can. But even though that is what to focus on, even though focusing on regulating your nervous system, staying high vibe, staying high frequency is what we probably should be doing, doing it is not easy. And that is what we have to come to terms with. We have to acknowledge, of course I want to feel good. Of course I want to regulate my nervous system. But this is going to be no fucking walk in the park. And I'm okay with that. And I'm okay right now, even though my nervous system might be quote unquote unregulated. Just forget that phrase, actually, okay? Don't worry about whether your system's regulated or unregulated. Be completely unregulated. Who cares? Who cares? The point is, you're okay right now. And I mean it. And the problem is, we don't recognize that we're okay right now. We're scared. We're anxious. We feel nervous, fear, shame, anxiety. And all these things are just part of the human experience for most of us. And they're things that we can work through and work with to navigate this experience in a more kind, gentle way, not only just for ourselves, but for others. We can be less reactive towards our thoughts, towards our feelings, and more loving and less self-judgmental than we probably are right now. That is the law of attraction and the law of assumption when we get down to it, at least for the large part. And that is what regulating your nervous system really means, in my opinion. But, oh my gosh, so many people fall for this shit. I really have a vivid memory. This is a few years ago, I think. I was in a pretty expensive group that I was paying for, like this money mindset group. I'm not going to mention the teacher. The teacher was very good in many ways. Excellent money mindset teacher compared to most of the, again, jokers out there. And she taught me a lot of nuances about feeling better about money. But she used to talk about regulating your nervous system and making it seem like it was just a walk in the park. And maybe for her, it was just a walk in the park a lot of the time. But she would say, like, you first have to regulate your nervous system, then everything comes after that. And then she would talk about all this money stuff. So she would spend 90% of the time on the money stuff and 10%, no, less, like 5% maybe on the regulate your nervous system. And that's completely incorrect for most people. Having worked with hundreds of people over the years, I can tell you that kind of approach where it's like, I'm going to focus on the manifestation or the money mindset stuff or the specific health stuff or the specific relationship stuff and not focus on regulating the nervous system first is not going to work for most of you when it comes to the inner work. You understand? This teacher, who again is better than most, especially when it comes to money stuff, she just said, first regulate your nervous system and then we can do da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then she just kind of, just regulate your nervous system. I remember being so fucking offended by that. Just regulate your nervous system. Not that easy. Not that easy. And if you stop spiritually bypassing and acknowledge that it's not simple to just feel fucking great all the time or even half good all the time, and that you're okay even though that's the case, and that there's peace in this moment, there's health in this moment, there's wealth in this moment, there's love in this moment, even when shit seems a little bit helter-skelter. If you can learn to work through that, life gets better. You stop judging yourself so much. See, we inadvertently judge ourselves when we hear these folks saying, regulate your nervous system or stay high vibe, stay high frequency, live in the end. And then we feel like we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I'm saying throw all that shit out. It's all made up. These folks don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You don't need to regulate shit. Just accept that you are okay as you are right now. And learn to feel that way more and more. That is a process. And that's a wonderful process to undertake. You know, if you want help with it, I'll gladly help you. Link is in the description. But I just want you to know that integrating these wonderful spiritual manifesting stress reduction ideas is not something that's just like, oh, I'm going to just, you know, I'm going to learn to relax and then figure my life out. Learning to relax is figuring your life out. It's a serious undertaking, and it is a worthwhile undertaking. It's one I hope that you afford yourself the space to allow yourself to do it. I'll put a video below for something that will be helpful in that regard. Until next time, be well, and don't worry about regulating your nervous system.